When I was 15 years old, my life changed overnight, completely. I'm waking up in the morning, it was 7 a.m., I had to go to school, but my dad walks into my room and tells me, "You're not going to school today." And I'm like, I'm still like waking up. I'm like, how come? So many thoughts going through my head. I was like, okay, I see some snow outside. Maybe it's because of the snow. I heard it gets canceled when it's too snowy. And he tells me, they invaded us. He was like, "No, нас напали." We were in Kiev. It was first day of the war. And since that day, feeling of me being lost just kept increasing. I will get into that. And I look at him and I go like, seriously? I open my group chat and I see 2,000 messages just like in 1 hour. I was like, okay, something's terrifying is going on. I look into the chat, there's like they send a bunch of news channels, they send a bunch of pictures of explosions and voice messages. Okay, I heard this sound, it was next to my house, some bomb landed next to my house. It was terrifying. And after literally 1 month of not socializing, not doing anything, because all the schools were closed, all the gyms were obviously closed, the malls, everything was closed. All I could do is just sit in my house, look out the window and see if anything dangerous happening, just sitting there like stressed out. I was making TikToks, so many TikToks, because that's all I could do. My dad told me, why don't we go to Austria, where my mom was. She was there for vacation, but she had to stay there for longer. And I was like, man, me by myself? I knew I could do it. So my dad couldn't go with me because he was 18 years and older, and he had to stay and fight. And same with my brother, my older brother. And me, small guy, 15 years old, I packed all my stuff, and I ended up going to Lviv first. My dad had some friends there, and they kind of let me stay for a couple of days. Then we crossed the border into Poland successfully. I'll make a separate video on that because that was such a journey. Successfully, I made it to Austria, and since then it was like 1.5 months of me not talking to anybody. I was so depressed. I was so lost. I didn't know what was gonna happen with my life. Before invasion, I had some clarity. I knew that I'm gonna become a doctor one day. I started going to the gym. I had some gains. And since the first day of invasion, I was like, what's happening with life? Because there was no direction. I didn't know if I'm gonna go back. For me, going from third world country where kids go on their holidays, on their summer holidays, they go to their grandparents, that's like the best case scenario, and they help them, digging something, helping them out in the yard. And here in Austria, everybody was so rich. It was just a completely different world for me. And I was not talking to anybody, I didn't speak the language, and all I was doing next couple 2 or 3 months, I would go to school. I would just pretend I understand something in the class because all the classes were in German. Some teachers would come up to me and try to translate in English. And beside that, I was just scrolling. On social media. I was on my phone, texting my friends from Ukraine, complaining about life. Okay, this school is so shitty, I don't like it. And in September 2022, my whole family this time, my brother, my dad, my mom, we all made a decision that we're gonna move to Canada. And in Canada, I ended up also going to school. I started doing rowing pretty seriously. However, I didn't have purpose. I was so stressed out. I really didn't like the environment around me. It was just so unusual for me. I couldn't accept it. And all I was doing is I was on social media pretty much. I was just trying to hide from the world. I couldn't really accept it. And after 1 year of being in Canada, I made it to grade 12. I learned English, and I had this dilemma because everybody was choosing their majors, everybody was kind of picking their future career, and this making me sad now because in reality, no teachers really help you choose your future career. All they tell you is follow your passion. How the heck 17-year-old who hadn't seen the world around him knows what his passion is for the rest of his life? How? And because of all of this pressure around me, I had to pick something. I ended up choosing paramedics. It was not my passion at all. I just picked it because it seemed kind of cool to me. And in summer, I went to school for like 3-4 weeks. I didn't like it. I dropped out. I didn't like it. And after I dropped out from this paramedic school, all I was doing is just working. I found this job at the mid department. It was cold. It was very depressive. I was working there for 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. That was the lowest point of my life. That's all I was doing until January 2025. I found a new job. I found a door-to-door sales job. And somebody told me to go for a dopamine detox. I went for a 60-day complete dopamine detox. It was a crazy one. And I went from 6 or 7 hours screen time to 1 hour. Before that, I was always entertained. I didn't want to stay bored, I always wanted to do something. I always wanted to scroll something. And I went to 1 hour screen time, checking my emails or making some videos. And that just gave me so much clarity. I chose what I'm gonna do. I chose what I'm gonna do for sports. Before that, only time I could think about my life, think about my future, is when I just sit there, okay, what I'm gonna do. But other than that, I would wake up, I would scroll something. Before going to bed, I would not have any silence. I had silence deprivation. And that was the core reason why I was so lost. Instead of facing the environment, instead of facing the world, I was just numbing it. I was numbing it with the YouTube. I was numbing it with all the social media, with all the noise. And during this experiment, I felt like a 5-year-old again. I really did feel that way. Because after maybe 9 years old, I constantly had this noise in my head. I was like, okay, maybe that's just life. Maybe that's just life. No, it's your goddamn phone, bro. It is your goddamn phone. And after that detox, after this re-evaluation of my internet relationships, I was like, man, my reality is not the same anymore. My reality is this, all around me, not what's going on in the world of hyperactivity. So if you're around my age, you're trying to go to university, you don't know what you're gonna do for the rest of your life, you don't have this clarity, or you're in the university, or if you're in the university and you're thinking, is this the major that I'm gonna connect my life with? Ask yourself, when was the last time you woke up and you just went outside to get some sunlight? You're numbing yourself with your phone. Try to do a detox. Try to go for a 3-week, 4-week detox and let me know if it works. Hopefully the video was helpful. Let me know how it goes. See you next video. That was Alexi Lupin.